During the height of the lockdown period, Nigel Randolph awoke into a terrible nightmare reality. Not only had both his arms and legs been removed, but he could no longer speak, only gurgle like an infant. At first, he thought he was indeed dreaming, neither in pain nor particular discomfort. He had no memory of anything untoward happening. Moreover, when he examined himself, each point of amputation looked to be smooth and clean. There were no signs of redness, recent scarring, blood, no bandages for that matter, none of which made any sense. Ever since the restrictions came into force, Randolph had spent the vast majority of his time working on his latest screenplay. Progressively, he had lost track of all time. He had become so absorbed in his work, he found it hard to distinguish where one day started and another ended. As far as he could remember, he had written until the early hours of the morning and gone to bed as normal. Lifting his head, he looked over towards the desk by the bay window. As expected, he saw his laptop, a pile of manuscript pages, old printouts from earlier drafts, his notebooks, a few empty wine glasses and coffee cups. Turning his head to the right, he managed to steal a glance into the adjoining kitchenette. Like his desk, it was in a state of semi-disarray. There were dirty plates piled up in the sink, empty beer and wine bottles on the work surfaces, alongside fast food containers, and a pile of old newspapers he'd been meaning to throw away for weeks. Wearied by his exertions, he let his head sink back down onto the pillow, and then burst into floods of tears. It took quite some time for Randolph to calm himself down, to gather his thoughts and assess the true gravity of the situation. He lived alone, was unmarried, and didn't have children. He kept himself to himself. He rarely saw other people or left his bedsit for any period of time. Not being able to go out or meet in large groups had been natural for him, an extension of his normal working routine. Nobody, not even his agent, would find it odd or out of place for him not to make any kind of contact for weeks on end. This scared him. He was completely helpless. If he didn't manage to raise the alarm somehow, he faced a slow and horrible death.